Hello people, I'm Ike and this is aiyksource. I'd want to welcome you to the 7th video in this series which we're doing currently on spms, which stands for Staff Profile Management System. We've been working on this system for a couple of days now, and I must say we've done well. We actually have accomplished a lot together. And so in today's tutorial, we're basically going to be covering the following outlisted points. And first of all, in our signin.php, we're going to change the header location to index.php. Now, before now, we had in our signup.php file, before now we had login.php. So once a user logs out or is logged out of the system, it's redirected to the login.php, but I would prefer the user to be directed or redirected to the index page, which is like a home page, instead of the logout page, because you don't have to be logged in order to have access to the index page. And the index page is actually going to give the opportunity or the option of logging into the user. So that being said, on the next point, we are gonna edit our addMember.php file and make it accessible to access level 3 only. Now, in order to create a new member, in order to create a new staff member, an organization has to be logged in, since it's an organization that can add members to itself, or it has to be an organization that adds members to itself. All I'm trying to say is that an organization is what staff members are added to. So it has to be that account that is logged in, the account that you want to add the staff member to, that is logged in, not any other accounts, not the admin's account. Neither would it be a staff member's account, but an organizational account. Alright, that's the second thing we're going to cover in this series. Thirdly, we're going to create a new file, getCategory.php. Now this file is what is basically going to help us generate or pull out suggestions of categories from the database. Now, in our categories field, I want it such that once the user starts typing, suggestions of categories will be displayed right below the text field for the user to choose one from. So it's with this file that we are going to pull off those data. Afterwards, we are going to copy jQuery to our JavaScript folder in the root directory. Then we'll delete the link, which I think is redundant. We created a link to getCategories.js, and I promise we're going to develop this file later, but we are no longer doing that. We're actually going to do everything we need to do in that file within scripting tags. And so that's the next point. We're going to add scripting tags for auto suggest in the add organization.php. So it's this point that takes the place of the link which we are deleting in the previous point. Okay, now finally we're going to create ajax.php. Now it's this file that we're going to use to handle the ajax request, such that we can pull off data from the database and display on our browser without having to refresh anything. And this is what we're going to use to accomplish our auto suggest functionality. Alright, thank you so much for tuning in. I'd want to encourage you to subscribe on this channel. Source code for this project is going to be available on GitHub. Now you guys get into GitHub and download this project, tweak it as you may, make all the necessary corrections. Should I have made silly mistakes here, that's why I have you guys out there. You make corrections and send in your pull request, You can also put in or effect suggestions on your copies and send in pull requests. Together we are gonna go through this pull request, and if they are worthy of it, we are gonna merge it to the master copy and inculcate it in the system. So I'd really encourage you guys to get on GitHub and download this project so you can also work on your copy. I'd love this to be more of a community project. I would love it to be more interactive in nature. So guys, let me see you do stuff. You can also leave out comments down below underneath this video if you have questions or you have suggestions or you have anything you need clarification on. Leave your comments. I would make sure I answer or give answer to each and every one of your comments as soon as possible. Alright then, without wasting much time, we're gonna hop into the project immediately. In the last tutorial, we successfully created the create organization page or the add organization page. Well, basically what we'll be doing today is add an auto suggest functionality for this category field right here, so that once the user starts typing say TEC, for example, it gets completed, or he sees options that have to do with TET based off our database. And if you go COM, then things like this come up. Alright, so we are going to build that functionality. Well, before we do that, there are a number of things which we are going to do, and just like I listed in the pre-vid, we are going to start by changing the header location to index in our sign out page. So let me navigate here in our text editor. I'm gonna locate the sign out.php, and here that header location says login.php. I'm gonna change that to index to index.php, and that's all for our first assignment. And secondly, in our add member page, we are going to make access level visible or accessible by access level 3 only. So add member, here where we check to see if the user is logged in. So all I'm gonna do is to take out all of this one that gives access to access level 1. So we're gonna leave it at access level 3 only, and I'm gonna save 2 down. That's good. Now our third assignment or third to do is to build a file, getCategories.php. So we are gonna be creating a new file with which we are gonna grab out categories from the database. Alright, so before we do that, let me just quickly open this add organization file. Okay, coming down right here where we have categories, you'll note that we have an unordered list which we're going to use to display of the little suggestions that we're going to pull off the database. On the second thought, I won't be using an unordered list. I'm going to use a div, but I'll still leave the ID as UL categories because I'm lazy. I don't want to start changing stuff in the database, in our CSS file. Alright, so I'm just going to leave the ID exactly how it is. So we're going to use a div. Now that's good. I'm going to save this file. Now create a new file. Alright, save this as get categories. .php. Hit save. Alright, now we won't be doing much in this file. All we'll be doing is include our connection file, then check if a post was made, and this post we are going to make it from our Ajax file. So once this post come through, we are gonna create a variable, call it search term, and then assign to it whatever comes in from the post. Afterwards, we're gonna create a query to select everything from this database, our organization, categories. We haven't created this, so we're gonna create this database, this table right after this. So we're gonna grab everything from the categories table, where category is like. Now this is how we search, where the category which we're dealing with, or the field represents the current field, is like search term. If you look closely, you see this percent sign on both sides. What this means is that if, take for example, our search term is category, now it's going to search if A occurs anywhere in this text, or in this character, or in the string. So since we have an A here, it's going to return this. Then if our search term is 80, it's going to search for the occurrence or occurrences of 80 throughout the database and pull out everything. But if you have this wildcard on just the front side and not at the end of our search term, then it's going to check from just one side. So we'd want it to do from both sides. That's why I have it on both sides right here. I'll be limiting what comes out of the database by 5. I don't want to pull out more than 5. So as the user narrows down his search term, because it's going to be based on key up, once he presses a key to type, it's going to pull up and keep refreshing as he types. So as he types, it's going to keep limiting the search to a specific category, alright, based on what the user is typing. Moving on, we are creating a variable here, number of records. We are checking to see if the number of records is not equal to 0. If it isn't equal to 0, it means our search term returns something from the database, so we can go ahead to pull out whatever was retrieved from the database in this for loop for each loop. So in each loop, we are going to echo out a button, give it this class, and on click we are going to call a function auto suggest, which we haven't created yet, but we are going to create once we are done building our table. Right now, in this function we are passing in the this keyword exactly. So we are passing in the this keyword. Now what this implies is that we are picking the exact, mind you that there is going to be a number of these based on how many stuff was returned from the database. So there are going to be a number of these buttons, a maximum of 5 though. So we want to know which of the button, which exact one was clicked. So this is going to return that to us. Alright, and here we're just displaying out on the button as text the category. That's it for getCategories.php. Next up, we're going to be creating a table for our categories. So I'm going to save this as in my SQL folder, in the tables folder. I'm going to save this as org underscore categories .sql. Alright, we're going to create a table and name it tbl underscore org underscore categories. And now we are just going to have a number of fields. First of all, an ID, which is going to be auto increment, a category where we're going to place in the category name, added by, we are going to place in the signed in user who added this to the table, and then the date and time it was added, making our ID the primary key and category a unique key, so that we don't have duplicate categories in the database. That's everything for this. I'm gonna save, and then I'm gonna close this off and open phpMyAdmin, just import the table we just created into our database. Okay, once this is done loading, I'm gonna select my database. Alright, then I'm gonna click on import, choose file. It's gonna bring me to my file explorer. So in my C drive, in the one folder www, I'm gonna locate spms project, SQL and tables. Then we have org_categories, which we just created. Scroll down and click on go. Give this a minute to load up, and it's successful. Nice. So with this done, I think we're done with this part of the job. Next up, we're gonna be using jQuery. So I would quickly want to paste in a copy of jQuery in my JS folder right here. JS. Make sure that we have a copy of jQuery. You can go ahead and download this from the jQuery website. Alright, so next up, there's this link which we've created earlier to a file which we are not going to be using, we are not going to be creating. So in our add organization.php, if I can come back to my text editor, yeah, alright, right here, this link to category suggests.js, I actually decided to complete all of that task within the PHP file and not have to create an external JS file for that. So I'm gonna take off that link to the JavaScript file. Okay, now I already have linked my jQuery and I've linked this ajax.js, which we are gonna create before we end this video today. The next thing I want to do is to add some scripting to this file. Right under my CSS link, I'm gonna break down and then add this little bit of scripting. Now all we're doing in this script, this JS file, this JavaScript, is first of all referencing this org category. Now this org category is actually our text box for category. This is it, org category. If I can scroll down to the markup, you would notice that right here, this input element, now this is it right here, org category is the text box for our categories. So what you're saying is that on focus in, once it's focused in, once the user focuses on it, we are going to run this function, and everything we are doing in this function is just to target this UL category display, which I now have changed to a div but never changed the name. We are going to target it and then fade it in. Now once it's been faded in, the next thing we want to do is to actually build a function which is called autosuggest. Now if you remember from our PHP file which we created, this get categories right here, and once these buttons are echoed out, we added an onClick event to them, and this event runs a function autosuggest. Now this is that function right here. The function receives a parameter as element, which is this right here, this. So once this really funny, once this comes in, we are going to first of all reference org category. Remember that org category is the text box for our category, and then its value, and we are now going to pass this element, which is this whatever was clicked, the button dot text. So the text value of the button, we're going to pass it as the value of whatever was clicked. Does it make sense? Then next off, we fade out our unordered list. So that's it. I'm gonna save this. Finally, we are gonna build our Ajax file so that we can access or connect our database, pull out these, what do they call them, auto suggest, these suggestions, pull them out and then display them on our web page. Cool. So I'm gonna create a new file and I'm gonna save this as in the JS folder. I'm gonna save it as aiyksource.js. Alright, in this file we'll just do the normal Ajax stuff. First of all, once this on key up on this text box, once there's a key up event on the text box, so if the user presses a key on the keyboard and then lifts his hand up, at that moment we are going to run this function. So whenever the key goes up in the keyboard, that function is run. So we are going to run this function, and everything we are doing in this function is first of all grabbing the value or the content of the text box of the text field. We are grabbing its content, whatever the user have typed in. We'll grab it and we'll place it in this variable called search term. Alright, afterwards we are creating a new XML HTTP request, then setting parameters as this search term, which we just grabbed from the user. We are setting them as parameters so that we send alongside with our posts. Okay, so here we open the post and send it to getCategories.php, which is this file right here. Alright, our PHP file. Alright, so once we've done that, we set the header type right here, and then we send this post alongside with our parameters. On ready states, we are gonna set our response to, so whatever comes back from this page that we sent our post to, and this is exactly what's gonna come out. This is what the page is gonna output out. It's gonna output so whatever comes back or whatever gets outputted by this page. What is it with all this funny output English stuff? Wow. So whatever this page outputs, we're gonna place it in this element. So what this basically does is grabs whatever it's here and slots it into this element, and that's all. I'm gonna save. Our database is empty. We haven't created any category on our database, and we haven't created the page with which we are going to create categories. So hang in there, guys. Finally we're going to create that page and be done with this video. I'm going to create a new file and I'll save this as right here, add underscore organization underscore category .php. Alright, now first of all we are granting access to one only. I haven't explained this, but our access levels are, for now, I think 1, 2, 3. Is that so? 1 is the system admin, so this system administrator is access level 1. 1 to 4 rather, not 1 to 3. An assistant to the system admin is given access level of 2. Now he's going to have a little bit of restriction in his access, but he can still do admin stuff. And access level 3 is for organization accounts, and access level 4 is for organization staff members. So when I give access level 1 access to this page, it means only system admins can come in here. Okay, now for our form, we have just this input field right here, one input field, and it's a text box wherein the user is going to type in the category, and then we submit. That's all. On the PHP side of things, we do the same routine. We just grab the post, whatever comes in from the form, place it in this variable. Added by, we just grab our user session and place it in this variable called added by, so that in our query we can now pass in the text, the added by, and the current date and time. Well, that's everything. I'm sure you guys understand every other thing because we've done exactly this same stuff over and over and over and over again. So I'm gonna save and then head over to the browser. First of all, I would navigate to, what's this long name again? add_org_category. add_org_category.php. Enter. Not found. I'm not logged in, and we also haven't done styling for that page. So I'm gonna open up my main.css file, and right at the bottom I'm gonna add styling rules for our categories. We are displaying it block, giving it an absolute position. Mind you, this is for the UL category display. That's our unordered list, which is now a div. Basically it's just a wrapper for whatever get outputted from the database. So display block, position absolute, a width of 100% of its containing element. We are aligning it to the center, aligning text, giving it a z index of 1 so that it stays on top, not under. Remember that it's something that is gonna appear on the page, so it has to stay on top of every other text box that might follow in the form. Alright, if you don't understand, you see that visually, and I promise you're gonna understand. We're giving this a background of white, box sizing border box, and then transition. We're adding transition. This box sizing, it's not important here since I'm not adding any dimensions, but I'm gonna leave it just in case. Okay, now this .suggested category is a class for everything that gets outputted from our database. If I can locate this get categories.php file, you'd notice that they all have this class suggested cat. Now this is what you're styling right here. So we're making the cursor pointer padding of 3 pixels from the top and the bottom, 6 pixels from the left and the right, a margin of 5 pixels all round, background of white, a border of 1 pixel solid, 8888888. That's a gray color, and also the text color we're given the same shade. So I'm gonna save, and finally I think we are ready to get to our browser. This time around I'll go to login.php and log in so that we don't get pushed out of the system. So make sure that this password is correct. Password, login. Alright, once logged in, I'm gonna try to open up that file again. So what's the long funny name? I have to check that out. add_org_category. So add_org_category. Enter. Nice, here we are. So I'm gonna add a couple. Let's say computer / technology. I'm gonna add business. I'm gonna add education. I'm gonna add healthcare. I'm gonna add what else? Any ideas? I'm gonna add industry. I'm gonna add agriculture. Well, I think that's good enough. So add. I'm gonna navigate over to, I don't know why I forget these things so easily. I'm gonna navigate to our this page, our organization page, so that we see this thing in action. So I'm gonna add organization right here. So the next time I come to this category and I type, let's say C, not working, something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong somewhere. What did I do wrong? Oh, it is. Okay. We have issues, not blurring. Okay, I get it. Stuff. The auto suggest of my browser is sitting on top of mine, which is cruel. Sitting on top of mine. Well, this is everything we've done, but we have a problem. If I take my cursor off, it's not going away, and I don't know, that isn't right. So I think I handled that problem right here. Here's my file, add organization, on focus. I'm gonna copy this, come down, paste it in, and change this to on blur. Fade this out. Oh, beauty. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna refresh. Okay. Still, that's a major setback, I must say. But I already have code to blur the same element right here in my auto suggest function, so there isn't need for you. Why isn't it blurring? I'm gonna save this. Why isn't it blurring? Why are you still there? I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna type. Well, this one right here is for our click event, so I'm gonna back up and bring back this thing I deleted for the blur action. version. So once the user takes his focus off the text field, we are gonna want to fade it out. You should work really. I'm gonna save and I'm gonna come over to the browser, hit refresh. I'm gonna type and I'm gonna look away and it won't work. Well, this tutorial is taking longer than necessary, so I'm gonna end it up right here, and in our next video we're gonna pick up right where we left off. So we're gonna fix this one little bug from the next tutorial, but for right now I think this is close to perfect. So all the code with regards to the changes we've made, they've all been uploaded on GitHub, so you can follow the link below this video, visit our GitHub page and download the code, tweak it however you may, and make your corrections and suggestions and send in your pull request. We are gonna make or go through this request together in the channel via video tutorials or lessons. Then requests that are worthy of merging to the main project, we're gonna merge, and credit is gonna go back to whoever sent in this pull request. Alright, I really want to encourage you guys to subscribe on this channel. If they are guys, or if they're friends, if they are people who you think this knowledge or this information is gonna do a lot of good, do invite them over to come and join in, to come and subscribe and be a member, be a part of this community which we're building. Alright, I really would love to see your comments coming down below. So if you have any challenge or questions or whatever you want to share, you can just leave it down below in the comments area. Alright, now I'll see you guys in the next video, where we are gonna fix our last little bug for this auto suggests, I call it application, whatever you want to call it. So I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.